Oh,
Hey.
yes, well, okay. Hey everyone, thank you for joining to today's episode, a live meetup on the topic for collecting like a whale, hosted by the Blockchain Game
Serena,
Alliance.
can you hear me?
Sorry,
Yes.
Benoit,
Yeah.
we'll have to mute you for a second while I introduce the BGA, then you'll be able to speak again. It looks like your sound is fixed, so all good. We were having some sound setup issue. So for you, those of you who are not yet familiar with what is the Blockchain Game Alliance, I'm going to introduce it shortly, and then I'll leave it to our speakers today, which are really special guests. You don't get to see them all together so often, and yet they are a very powerful force in our industry. So I hope we'll have a lot of very good takeaways that can be helpful for all the game developers out there that are developing NFTs and blockchain game in the way they approach their economy design and NFT design. So without any further ado, let me go back to my slide. Yes, so the Blockchain Game Alliance is a non-profit organization which is committed to promoting blockchain within the game industry. We have now over 150 members and we keep growing every month. Our goal is to spread awareness about blockchain technologies and encourage the adoption by highlighting all the different possibilities, the new ways of interacting between the developers and the community, the players, through creating, publishing, playing games, and all those exciting possibilities. We're also a strong advocate for diversity and more inclusivity of women in the industry. We've run several events where 100% of the speakers were women. Those events have had a large success and will continue soon this month and next month on hosting a few more. And we are an open forum where individuals and companies can come, share knowledge, network, collaborate, do business together, and more. The core activity of the Blockchain Game Alliance include networking, research, and reporting, representing the blockchain game companies in the industry, and advocating for blockchain within the game industry. As you can see, we have many members, over 150 companies, which range into blockchain games, of course, but also traditional games company, press and media, chains and protocol, investors, developer solution, and many other actors that all together want to push the adoption of blockchain technology in the space. I wanted to give also a special thanks to our sponsor, Animoca Brands, Ubisoft, Galaxy Interactive, Maker, Algorand, Chromia, Matty, AMD, and Mobox for their special support of the BGA as well. Some of the events that we have, among all the activities of the BGA, include interviews with industry leaders and video games executives, workshop on various thematics, including DeFi and gaming, DAOs, and how they can be useful for the game industry, decentralized gaming, or legal topics. Also, every month we have our monthly meetup where we introduce all the new members who are joining the BGA and they get a chance to present what they are doing to our audience. And then we offer free speaking opportunities and tickets for many other online conferences to our members. So without any further ado, I'm really excited today to welcome Whale Shark, Jim, Matty, and Benoit, who will be discussing on the panel that Serena will be hosting on the topic of collecting like a whale. Serena, are you here?
Yes. Can you guys hear me? And welcome everyone to this amazing panel. I'm so happy to be joined with all of you guys. And I need to thank you. Thank you all, Sebastian, for presenting the BGA. Thank you all for joining this panel because I know we're all based in different parts of the world. So I massively, guys, appreciate that you made it here. Thank you and welcome.
Hey, happy to be here.
So I would like
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you. So to start with, I would like for you guys to give us a quick introduction about you, just to give us a few words about who you are and the reason why you're here. So today we'll be talking about collecting NFTs and specifically about concept of collecting like a whale, which we will describe in a moment. So I'm just going to grab the slides back, and I would like for Whale Shark to give us a quick introduction about who you are, what you do, and what the concept behind Whale Shark.
Thank you. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of the viewers throughout the world. Thank you so much for the BGA and Serena for having us today. I go by Whale Shark. I am one of the largest NFT collectors in NFT land today. I've been in the space for about a little more than a year now. And we love supporting and collecting some of the most valuable NFTs and some of the greatest projects in NFT land today. I'm also the founder of Whale, which was established on May 18th, 2020. A huge shout out to the 35 people on our Discord who are watching us in addition to the people on YouTube today. And I really look forward to interacting with Matty, Jim, and Benoit, three people who I very much respect in the space.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you all to the community watching. It's very impressive. Thank you all. And then we're going to introduce Matty. Welcome, Matty. Good
Hey
evening.
guys.
Is that evening at your side?
It's past the evening. It's 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, midnight.
Sorry to keep you awake.
That's all right. It's my absolute pleasure to be here amongst all of you guys. I see your work on Twitter. I see your work on the projects that you're involved in. And as Whale Shark said, you know, the pleasure is mine to be among you all. My name is Matty. I run dclblogger.com. It's a website I started just to blog my entries with my journey in Decentraland. I started just flipping land and buying and selling things. And now that's kind of amassed to a big kind of NFT effort, collecting things, buying and selling other things, building communities, and it's a lot more than what it used to be when I first got started. So that's pretty much it. I'm still evolving as a person. I feel more like a dolphin compared to some of the people here, the whales here. So yeah, I'm honored to be here and learn from all you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, happy to share what I know.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here with us. And moving on, we have Jim. Good
Hey everyone.
morning. Is that morning?
How are you?
There?
Yes, it's morning here. It's just past 9 a.m. So just getting the day started, up and at 'em. So I'm Jim. I started out as a CryptoKitties collector and moderator on their Discord, and then through my degenerate activities in the NFT space, ended up figuring out exactly what sort of NFT I wanted, and I went out and built that in Avastars. And between launching Avastars, we've also started Token Smart and Infinity now. So NFT 42 is the kind of umbrella that houses all three of those projects, and it's myself and Rizzle and Nate Alex that are all kind of founders of that company and running that now. So I'm also honored to be here today amongst these three, and looking forward to the conversation.
Super. Thank you. And where is the cat? Sorry, but I had to ask this question.
My cat is right there.
Oh my God, it's the cutest thing.
Looks can be deceiving.
NFTs as well.
She was the reason that I bought my first CryptoKitty. My kitty had run away. She was gone for like 2 nights, and it was a huge snowstorm. And I was like, she's definitely dead. So I bought a CryptoKitty on December 5th, 2017 to commemorate my cat. I named it Katniss. And she did come back, obviously. 2 weeks later, though. It was a long time. So she actually got me started into the NFTs. Credit due to her.
That's the best story ever.
I know.
Thank you so much for sharing it.
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then we have Benoit joining us this afternoon. Hello. How are you?
Is my mic okay? Yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, Serena, for having me. Yeah. Is the sound all right?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So I am Benoit. Thank you, Serena, for having me. It's 5 p.m. here in France. I live in Paris. My name is Benoit. My name first letter is C, so I go by Benoit C in the crypto space because it's an anagram to Bitcoin. I used to be a Bitcoin maximalist, and now I discovered the Ethereum blockchain 2 years ago. and I started collecting NFTs. I started with crypto voxels. I bought a couple of parcels in crypto voxels at the very beginning. I was maybe among the first 50 people owning a land here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I discovered all this art space, that is fascinating, and I decided to build a museum in CryptoVoxel and to start collecting NFTs, crypto art NFTs. And I don't have the largest collection, but I really take good care of the collection, meaning that I try to display it in a nice way in my museum. I try to make it consistent, representative, and everything. But I guess we're going to talk about that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all, guys, for being here. It's such a pleasure to be joined by you. And without further ado, as Seb says, I want to dive straight into this conversation because I can't wait to be asking questions to you guys. So to start with, I just wanted to say that crypto collectibles in the form of art, gaming, and land are, let's say, new trend in the crypto economy. Right. It may not be new to us, but to most people out there can be new ways of investing. So my first question to you is, what made you become a whale collector, and what does it mean to be a whale collector? And I would like the first question to be sort of answered, perhaps starting from Matty. What do you think becoming a whale collector means? And then if Will Shark can sort of explain what the concept of being a whale collector is.
Yeah, sure. I can comment a little bit on that. I initially started my journey stumbling upon the world of NFTs. And it wasn't to collect things. It was just the fact that I could buy something. And because that marketplace just happened to be so active, it was Decentraland at the time. It was like, wow, I can buy something for a couple $100 and sell it the very next day for $500. So that was what got me into, increasing my portfolio or my net worth without putting more fiat into this high risk crypto portfolio that I had. So my intention wasn't to really collect things or really provide more value to the space apart from just, I came from a cryptocurrency moon background. I held my cryptocurrency and sold them when it went up. That was the kind of mindset I had in the first year. And if you notice on my blog, a lot of my earlier blog posts, it was all about, I bought and sold this land for X amount. It wasn't really much about what's building in Decentraland. But then as I got more into the space and kind of grew out of my Decentraland bubble, I realized like there's a lot more to this, right? There's like art NFTs that we incorporate, games that come in, things that are more possible now with blockchain and interoperability. And then it kind of became more of like a responsibility. All right, well, I have this much land. I have access to this awareness channel, my Twitter account. A lot of people check my blog posts. I have a Discord with like 800 people. I have to do something with this. I have to help build this bigger than what it is. I'm like smack bang in the middle of this. So it started off very small and it dynamically turned into something more than just what it was. So what it means to be a whale collector, it's different for everyone. For me, it's amassing wealth and building a community. So when I see things that I like, I can accelerate that with my skills and my financial power, and that's my skill set. I'm not very good at building. I'm not very good at technical. I can't code, but I do understand business and growth, and that's where my strength lies. So to me, it's how I can contribute to accelerate this NFT space. And I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people doing it. So I'm learning from everyone at the moment.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think it's a great overview of what being a collector means. Will Shark, after you now, what does it mean to be a whale collector?
Interesting question. So, again, I think in the standard terminologies of the industry, the concept of a whale is someone who's amassed a significant amount of control over a certain market, right? When we talk about whales in the crypto market, basically you have these whales with bags of crypto that are able to manipulate the market up and down. I think in the NFT space, though, that takes on a totally different definition. A whale collector in the NFT space is not necessarily the person or the collector with the largest bags. The whale in the NFT space, in my mind, is someone who carries the big stick, right? So they carry a lot of influence, but not control. So, once again, while the whale community and myself do hold one of the largest collections in NFT land, really, there are so many other influential people in the space who use either their creative abilities or they use their logic of reason. They use their writing skills to become very key influencers within a space. So honestly, the definition of a whale in NFT land is very, very different from the definition of a whale in cryptocurrency. The definition of a whale in NFT land is someone who has the influence and has the ears of the people in NFT land, are able to exercise that charisma to drive a certain opinion. And, once again, it's not necessarily tied to the size of their bags, right? So that would be what it would mean to me to be a whale collector in the NFT space.
Thank you. And Jim and Benoit, I'm now curious, do you agree or disagree with whale shark vision? Jim?
I think I'm a little bit less philosophical than whale shark here, and I think that it just means you have a shitload of NFTs. mainly expensive ones though, right? Like I think a lot of expensive ones. Like I think whales are typically buying the higher end items and making the market moves that then drive the rest of the market to some extent. So I do think that whales do have influence over the market and the ability to help spring projects forward that they believe in and patronize artists and projects that they believe in. So I look at whales as patrons and large bag holders, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Right, Serena. I'm gonna have to agree with whale shark because I don't have the largest bag of NFT, but still I feel that I can somehow set a trend or try to influence or try to give directions, because I'm very careful in selecting the NFTs. I'm not trying to buy the highest price NFT. I don't want to pump the prices necessarily. I want to select NFTs that I like. I think I have artistic, sensibility because of my background. And I think I can identify artists. I can identify some trends. There's a big question about what is crypto art. I'm not sure anyone can say what is crypto art. Is it digital art? Is it something else? Does it just take to tokenize digital art to become a crypto artist? Maybe it's something else. And I'm working with passion because this is what I like. Trying to define what is crypto art, and also for me, art is a way to express things, and it's political. So for me, because I'm a strong believer in the crypto technology, blockchain technology, I think it will improve the world. And I think the artists they can speak out to the wider public so that people understand, because it's very complex to describe what crypto is, what blockchain is, what it can do. And artists, they have the ability to express this through an image, through a animated image. They have this ability. And this is why I like to collect crypto art. I like to display crypto art, because for me it's a very good way to communicate about crypto technology.
Of course, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, and I think in a way, visual concept of NFTs in a way does influence the way we perceive collections and how we collect. I've got a little surprise for you, which I will reveal in about a minute or so. So we have a special guest joining us for a few seconds. So I will reveal that very shortly to you. But before we do that, I would like to ask you if, before getting into the crypto space, so before the advent of crypto, were you making similar kind of investments in the IRL? So looking at real estate, for example, or acquiring paintings within a collection, and sort of having the same experience as a collector in the real world before sort of transit to the crypto space. Jim, would you like to answer that?
Sure. Honestly, crypto helped me rediscover art. I was, when I was going through grade school and high school and everything else, I had talent that the schools recognized and tried to nurture. I was in, advanced art programs and things like that, but I didn't pursue it past high school. So I really hadn't even been in the art world much, other than visiting museums and whatever towns I would go to for, the last, 20 years. And then getting into NFTs after collecting things like Legos in mass and things like that, with a plan on reselling those. Finding NFTs was kind of a shining light, a beacon of light, because, being able to actually sell things online without having to ship them out like you do with Legos and things like that, and they stay in mint condition. There's a lot of advantages to that. So that's what first drew me to NFTs, was the ability to collect. And in the case of CryptoKitties, you could take two NFTs and create a new one, and that one could be more valuable than the first two. And I thought that was a really neat concept. So that's what really drew me in initially. And then being able to discover the art and all these amazing artists and projects along the way has been the reward.
And the rest of you guys, were you collecting before entering the crypto space or not? Will Shark, were you a collector before crypto?
I think I've always had a collector streak in me. Honestly speaking, I think before the age of 10, I used to collect Dragon Ball Z cards. So honestly, I'm a bit of an otaku, right? But besides the collection of Dragon Ball Z cards, the other thing that really interested me in collecting was also the economic side of things, right? So I think I collected and amassed probably the largest collection of Dragon Ball cards in primary school, got them all confiscated for bringing them to school. After that, in secondary school, collected Magic the Gathering, got those confiscated as well. And then as I got older, collecting real estate has always been something that was very interesting for me. I don't know if it was so much the collection as it was the challenge of identifying undervalued opportunities and getting proven right in the market later on when everybody saw what you didn't see before. So absolutely, have been sporadically throughout my life, but honestly, NFTs have turned me into a total hoarder. If I look at my vault, if I look at my account, it's so cluttered, it's unbelievable.
Oh, I love that story. So guys, today I was having a look with Sebastian about the NFT market size and what does it mean to be a will collector. And I was looking basically at stats, and I went on to non-fungible and I was trying to understand, all these reports and diving a bit more into that. So I thought that why not getting to join us today for a few minutes and help us understanding those stats together. So
man.
Here we go.
Yeah,
guest joining us tonight.
Hi guys.
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Yeah. Good.
So
to
Zoop
you
is
guys.
from the non-fungible team. Thank you so much for joining us. I know this is a surprise for everyone. We haven't announced it. So thank you so much for showing up.
You're welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
Since you're here, we're gonna use you, if you don't mind, to help us understanding some of the features that you and non-fungible have been working on.
Absolutely. So personally, I'm not a whale. I'm not a collector. I like to, but I'm not. So no, actually, what we do, me and non-fungible, is that we help people and whales as much as possible to understand what are the trends, what is the value of the assets. Oh, do you hear me?
Can you guys hear Zoop?
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so we had the honor a few months ago to be reached out by a whale shark himself that asked us to evaluate his portfolio. And as it's basically one of the largest portfolio in town, that has been a pretty great challenge, honestly. So I don't know if you maybe can you display the slide, maybe Serena? Because I guess that all of you knows that it's a pretty massive portfolio. So the first time we had to we were facing this vote, we were like, okay, we have 3,000 assets in front of us. No one has ever valued such assets. So, okay, let's try that. So we entered this vote. At that time, the first value was like something like $500,000. Now it's almost $1 million. So yeah, but that has been a great challenge to enter such a portfolio. And I personally think that being a whale, being a collector, means that, as you said before, you need to know what is the value of what you buy. So as far as I know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge for everyone around there. So just to give you a little more details about this valuation, about how we try to be as transparent as possible about these audits. Can you maybe move to the next one, Serena? Yeah. What is interesting, that won't be a surprise, is that the distribution in value is definitely not the same distribution as the volume. There's 280 gas and chain cards worth definitely a lot. It's I don't remember the exact value, almost 200,000 USD with only 200 cards. So it's very interesting to notice in this example of this portfolio, the diversification of it. There are more than 40 projects into it. So at the end of the day, we had to identify 40 different ways to evaluate assets, to identify the value of this portfolio. So thank you, Shark, by the way, for this opportunity. But yeah, that has been a
my pleasure to work with you guys.
Thank you. So yeah, what we have provided yet, and what is manual so far, and what is meant to be automatic soon, is this evolution of the value of this portfolio. And I guess that what most of the collectors need is to understand, okay, I've bought these assets at that time, at that price. What is the value today? What is meant to be value in a few months or years? So this is what we try to do. This is actually what we do manually with our experts, with of Mogda as well, on the art assets. And to be completely honest, evaluating art is one of the most complicated things, because there are so many criteria, not only the metadata of the artwork, but as well the influence, the reputation of the artist, of the artwork. So many things that has to be taken in account. And of course, each artwork is unique by definition. And most of the time, it has nothing to be compared with other artworks. So that was part of the challenge as well. So yeah, this intervention is more about how to give some transparency to a portfolio, how to value this kind of vote. And there is another risk we have identified with audits, and it will be my last point. It's about the risk of the monopoly. If you can maybe switch to the last one. Yep, perfect. We have spent some time focusing on the percentage of the total supply owned by Whale Shark in this example. Because at the end of the day, let's admit that Whale Shark owns 100% of all the sandbox parcels. Okay, that's cool. But if one day he wants to sell back his assets, there is a huge risk to crash the market. So let's admit that 100% of the supply is owned by someone. The value is extremely complicated to consider in this context. It is a monopoly, okay? So no one else can say that this is a fair price. But the time these people, this monopoly just tries to sell everything, the market is about to crash. So that's why we are always giving this information about what is the percentage of the total supply owned by this portfolio. And we're definitely on a test and learn approach. So we'll learn new things, we'll learn new risk, we'll learn how to evaluate perfectly these assets through time. But that's interesting that's an interesting exercise anyway. So I don't know if you maybe have any questions about this kind of exercise or approach.
Yes. I think it was very useful for us collectors. I mean, when I saw this report, I was very happy, and I was read it very carefully, and it had information for me to value my own portfolio. So I was very happy to have this. And you said about the percentage of holding and the risk of crashing the market. I mean, if you have a high percentage, you have this risk, of course. I think it's more of a liquidity risk. You cannot sell everything at once, but you also have some influence. So you increase the value of your portfolio because you have influence, because you can talk to the developers. You can give your ideas, and everyone is listening to you. So there's also an advantage.
I'd just like to add on three main points here. I think the first point is that there's always been this, small corner of the market that talks about the influence that whales have over crypto art or rare digital art. If you look at this percent of total supply owned, honestly, the vault, and Zoop, I'm going to correct you, our vault, the whale community's vault, it only owns really 2% of the total supply of market. That voice that comes in that people say that we have influence, I think it stems more from the voice of reason rather than the size of the bag. So that's the first thing. The second thing is when we started working with nonfungible.com and getting this vault evaluated, we had a very strict rule that I would have no say in the pricing or the estimations pertaining to the pricing of these. And honestly, the reason why, and I think Zoop and the nonfungible.com team is finding, is that as these pricings are getting released, the project communities are speaking up for themselves. They're talking and working collaboratively with non-fungible, saying, this is how you need to develop it, right? Or this is how you need to price it. The third and last point, I think it was an extremely brave step for nonfungible.com to actually start this process, because it needs to happen. Without valuation, commercialization of the community of NFTs cannot happen. In my mind, at the end of the day, I think the ultimate valuation methodology, and once again, I've traded some philosophical and theoretical thoughts with Zoop before, is actually a 3-point analysis approach. The first part is understanding how much something sold for. The second part is understanding how much people are selling for. And the third thing is capturing the future valuation of a market through prediction markets. It's only when you capture these 3 points and join them together can we actually get a comprehensive and correct valuation of NFTs as it stands today.
Absolutely.
Serena, I have one question for Whale Shark. Yes. Well, Shark, I think you can appreciate that when you buy a new artwork, NFT artwork from a new artist, everyone will look at this and they will give value to this artist where they maybe didn't give before. So in this way, you influence the market, because when you pick up an artwork from someone, it raises the value of this artist. Do you agree, or is it something you don't agree?
I don't know, honestly, Benoit. I don't know, because let's take for an example Pak, right? When Murat Pak first entered the market 6 months ago, I was buying his artwork at 8 ETH, 9 ETH, 28 ETH. But there was no movement from anyone else. It's only most recently that you see him catching on with 28, 30, 35, 40, right? It's the same thing with Frenetic Void. Frenetic Void is another one, right? I loved his artwork the moment I set eyes on it, was buying it at 5 ETH all the way to 10 ETH. And once again, then it took about 3 or 4 months for the market to catch up again. If you go back to the slide just now, I own 80% of an artist called DDRI, right? A French model artist introduced to me by a lot of money. I'm still collecting his work every single time he makes a launch. So, once again, I think I might have a slight influence in the market, but not as large as people think.
If I can add something about that, that's something we have really paid attention if the address of the owner had an impact on the value. And to date, it looks like nope. The address of the owner, the wallet address, has no direct impact on the value of the assets or on the artist. It's mostly related to the, let's say, the buzz, the hype around the artist or the artwork itself. Let's say that one of you guys just promote one artist almost every day. If you, Matty, on Diesel Blogger, you promote, let's say, this artist Didier every day, I'm pretty sure that the value will increase. But if you just own it, it won't have a direct impact on it.
Mm-hmm.
So far.
Mm-hmm.
So far.
Interesting.
So far, absolutely.
And Serena, I also have another question, maybe for the group. When you collect NFT artworks, do you care about diversity? Not necessarily sex diversity. I mean, diversity in the style, diversity in the aesthetic, or do you only go by what you like, or do you want to have a collection that reflects different trends? How do you decide about that?
I can't comment on
It's
this.
an
I don't
interesting
collect
one.
that much art. I'm actually just
I
falling
guess
through the rabbit
Matty
hole.
or Jim, if you want to take it.
Probably Jim. Jim's probably better than me.
How do I decide who to collect? Was that the question? And how do I collect that? There's certain art that just speaks to me. I feel like I'm the kind of person who can walk into a store and pick out the most expensive thing. Just, it's the thing I want, and it's always the most expensive thing in a store. So similar, I feel like I have an aesthetic eye for art. There's a word for it. It's like aesthetic intelligence or something like that. So I just rely on my gut and, for something to speak to me. I don't really look for any specific criteria. But one thing that Whale Shark actually taught me early on that I think helped me focus in a lot was he was, because I had cast a pretty wide net in the NFT art world. He just suggested that if I was going to collect an artist, to make sure that I was willing to and ready to buy at least 3 pieces of theirs, and kind of like make those 3 pieces kind of like a cohesive collection in itself. And I think that like whenever I look at a new artist, I try not to just say, okay, I just need that one. I try to look at their whole work and try to understand if I'm going to be able to collect more than just one of their things. It doesn't mean I won't buy just one thing, but I'm more looking at the artist than the individual piece and what their collection means. And Hackatow is, I think their art's up in the background right now. They're, to me, like right now, I want more than 3 of them for sure. I can't get enough Hackatow at the moment. That's really what is speaking to me the most. I just think that they really represent crypto art to the umpteenth degree and are just really awesome people that I want to support. So yeah, I try to collect at least 3 things, and the artists, I really like bright and shiny things. I like pop art. I like really clean lines. So I like SVG and vector graphics and things like that quite a bit. And I like digital art over like physical art that's scanned into a digital medium. So I like digital native things. Those are kind of my preferences. But I have a lot of art from a lot of different artists. I'm not very specific in particular.
And what about you, Matty? Do you think that by investing into a specific NFT asset, you would somehow influence and determine the value of that asset? Let's say if you were going to invest into a new emerging artist. Just unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm
Great.
just falling into the art rabbit hole as we speak. It's only been the last week or 2 where I've been kind of understanding the art market a little bit more. I've come from more of like a e-commerce background. So for me, math makes sense. Oops, I think I'm echoing somewhere. Yeah. So if I have do I have an influence if I were to buy someone's art? I think on Whale Shark's point, and I think there's some mixed opinions on this, I think there is a bit of influence when someone like Whale Shark or someone known in the industry purchases an art piece that is an avid collector, because everyone else sees that bid history and they're like, oh, you know, this is Whale Shark's style. Let me try and collect his earlier pieces. I know some people that do that. So I don't know how much of an influence it has, but maybe in the future, now that we can see bid history based on blockchain, you know, someone like someone really, really popular that is maybe really, really rich comes in and places a bid on someone's art, then maybe someone will flock to try and buy it, right? But yeah, I'm not really sure how to answer that question in the sense of whether I would have an influence. I do know that my strategy moving forward with the projects that I invest in is to kind of have like a shared value growth. I have Decentraland land. I can put my art on that. I can put some 3D art around the conferences that I do and give publicity and awareness to the artists that I invest in. And as I grow in influence, then they'll grow in influence, and together we grow in our careers, basically. So in that sense, me actively pushing that, putting effort into increasing the awareness of what we're both doing, then in that sense is a clear influence model. But yeah, simply purchasing and buying, it depends on how much people are kind of watching your work and, you know, want to buy what you're buying, etc.
Serena, can I have a word?
Of course you can.
Yeah. Yes. You know, I want to talk 1 minute about my collection. My collection is not really, the purpose of my collection is not to collect art. It's more to display art. And you know, I manage this place in Crypto Voxels called MoCA, Museum of Crypto Art. And in fact, I do collect artworks because I want to put them in this place, and I want to display them, and I want the display to be consistent and diverse and representative of different trends. So this is what drives me in my purchases. You know, say for instance, I look at my collection and I say, well, I don't have that much gifts. So okay, I would say, okay, I need to buy some gifts because gifts is part of this thing. So I want to display that. Or I don't have enough glitch, or I don't have enough, I don't know what, AI or generative art. So I will try to drive my collection to be representative, so that, like a museum, you know, when you visit a museum, you want to have all the aspects of the art. And I think crypto art is at its very beginning. There's a real identity to crypto art, and I want to show it in my museum. And this is why I collect art. I want to buy artworks to build a collection that has consistency, that you know, and that tells a story.
Serena, I'd actually be more than happy to share the way that I select my art with the group as well as the audience, if you guys
That's
would like
fine.
to hear it.
Of course. I mean, I have a set of questions for you, but I'm more than happy to free flow with you and go with it. Let's have a conversation. There's also many questions coming through from the live comment, which I think will be nice to address some of them. But yes, please, Will Shark, we'll love to hear the way you collect and what you have to share about that process.
Sure, I'll keep it brief. So basically, it's a very structured process, very similar to what Jim talked about aesthetic intelligence in the beginning. The first criteria is that you got to like it, right? If you don't like it, then you know, don't buy it, right? Someone else will like it. So I tend to sway towards minimalism. So once again, why do I collect Pak? Why do I collect Tado? Why do I collect Van? It's because I love that minimalistic geometric design, right? So you got to like it. The second thing that I look for is a push for perfection, right? So I like artists who don't tokenize their process of work, but the final piece, right? When you tokenize something and you sell something, you want to sell the end result. You know, once again, it's I'm looking for that perfection in the technique, which is usually very apparent when you look at the detail orientedness that the artist puts into their artwork. Depending on what style it is, right? So that also kind of plays towards aesthetic intelligence. After that, I take a look at social media following. So, you know, once again, if someone is already being followed in the market, they might be the first time that they're tokenizing something, but they have a following of 100,000 or 200,000 people. That already indicates that there's a popularity for their artwork, right? Then after that, you look at like what Benoit and what Matty were talking about, who had been purchasing their art before, right? So I guess there's a slight bit of influence over there. And then after that, once again, joining all those pieces together, just making that coherent decision. I mean, Serena, I think Brendan Dawes just released Black Mamba's Revenge, right? For me, the moment I saw that, the moment I did my due diligence, the piece was up there. The information was up there for everybody to collect it. But the moment I saw it, I knew he was the right choice. Collected his first tokenized piece, which was Black Mamba's Revenge, and after the next day, he announced that he was longlisted for a Lumen Prize. Right, so I think the information is all there for people who want to collect art, as long as they spend the time to analyze it.
That's a very interesting point of view. Actually, I have a question for you, which that I'm asking you, all of you now. How important it is for you when, say, somebody who you admire or you have great respect for will make statement that will make you realize that an artist or an asset that you had not considered before might be worth considering. So how do you go about the influence that somebody or something could have on you aside social media? Like, could be a good friend or somebody that you respect as an influencer. Maybe Matty could answer that one, since you are quite active within the community.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to answer that one, actually, because my investment style is very, very conservative. I don't put money into something that I don't think I can get money back almost immediately. I negotiate a lot. I like to buy off market. Zoop's probably seen my wallet activity. A lot of it's not been on the marketplace. A lot of it's OTC, straight with the seller himself. Sometimes I take three months to close a deal. Sometimes it's taken a year to negotiate my way to a price that I'm really happy paying. He may have listed it for $1 million, 500 Ethereum. I'll ask him 80 Ethereum, and slowly we'll close it like 180 Ethereum or whatever it is. So I like to buy at a price that I know I can sell it immediately and get my money back. For me, the investment is, I don't like dead money. I like to know that I can get my money back, especially with this portfolio, this area of high risk that we're in. I need that liquidity. So for me, does influence matter? If someone tells me that so-and-so person's artwork is good, or this project is good, you should look at it because it's new. For me, that doesn't matter at all. For me, what matters is the history, the volume, the money that's been put in the pre-sale. Is there enough of a strong economy there to sustain my level of investment? I rarely listen to someone else. They may bring my eyes towards the project, but for me to pull out my hard-earned Ethereum out of my wallet and make a purchase, it's a lot of my self-deduction that goes through that.
Gotcha. Yes. And another question for all of you, actually, which will have a very short answer. Do you tend to bid on a work of art, or do you tend to buy now? We'll check, and then we'll go around.
Depends how much I want it, right? I think that's a simple answer. I would say about 80% of the time I buy it now, right? Because I know I love it, I know I want it. Just fork out the extra F and get it.
Okay, and you, Matty, are you for a buy now or for a bid?
Yeah, like I said, I'm just now falling into the rabbit hole of art, but I can see myself probably bidding more than buy it now. It's just my style, right? I need to know where that wiggle room is. Maybe because I'm Indian, I don't know what it is, but I like to see. But I wouldn't like disrespect an artist. It's a different thing. But someone that's put 1,000 mana in land, and land selling at 10,000 mana, then hell yeah, I'll ask him to buy it for 5,000 mana because he's making a 5x over there.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Where do you stand?
You're muted.
Oh yes.
It's a sliding scale. So I mean, if it's really cheap, I'll buy it now. I won't try to negotiate if someone has something like up for under an ETH or an ETH. But if it's like 50 ETH, I'm probably going to try to negotiate. Although there is still I think it was Skinny and Rare Designer collaborated on this like pink cyberpunk skull that was on Node Origin, and it was the buyout price was 7 ETH, and I bid 5 ETH on it, and 30 minutes later, moderates scooped it up, and that haunted me for days because I really, really, really wanted that piece. So, I mean, if you really want it, you got to buy it now.
Yeah, for sure. And Benoit, what's your vision?
Sorry, Ben,
Yeah.
just before you, sorry, I just want to quickly jump back in.
Matty, go ahead, Matty.
Yeah, the art thing, I'm saying it's a rabbit hole because it's the first layer of the NFT space that I'm seeing myself obsess about a piece. Even though it's really expensive, I'm like, nah, it's too expensive. And then I'm like, shit, like I'm showing my wife, I'm showing these other people, and they're like, wow, that art's amazing. I go to sleep, I wake up, I still think about the art. And it's one of those things that I just want to buy it because it looks beautiful.
I was planning a tattoo around that piece.
I'm like, oh no. It's like, it's so interesting to me because I'm a very heavy investor in the sense that I need to know I can get my money back out. And to go from that mindset to move more to just putting my money because I love that piece, that proves to me that it's more than what I initially thought. You know,
You're describing the shift from like astute investor to degenerate NFT collector.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened with Gods. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, personally, Serena, personally, I like to buy it now. I'm not patient, you know, I don't want to wait. So I like to buy.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes, I like to buy it now. Yeah, because I'm not patient, you know, I don't have patience. And you know, it happened that I place a bid and then I don't want to wait, and I just withdraw the bid because I want to buy something else. So, but I have a list. I also have a list of wishes. You know, I have a wish list and I keep updated. So I have maybe always 10 or 15 artworks or artists that I on my wish list, and I'm waiting for the good opportunity. So this is how I work.
And
there is something interesting regarding the. Oh, sorry, Serena.
Yeah, no, go for it. I was going to ask you the same question, Zup, if you happened to collect recently, and in which path did you fall?
I bid, to be honest. Yeah, I bid sometimes, not that much, but sometimes, yeah. I'm pretty passionate. I think that if I deserve this artwork, I'll get it. And if someone way richer than me arrives, okay, he'll get it.
I think everyone sort of saw your disappointment the other day when you tried to bid on something, when you said, should I buy this or should I not? And somebody just got it.
Yeah. That was it. That was an interesting one because we noticed that there was a bid on this one for something like 2 weeks, and when I said that, okay, I'm interested, but I don't know should I bid or not. The same, it was Frantic Void. Put another bid for 4 ETH, and I was okay to bid 2 ETH. 4 ETH was way too much too much for me. So but it was interesting to notice that even if I haven't bid personally, the price increased just because someone on Twitter said, okay, I'm interested on this one, the price increased and moved from 2 ETH to 4 ETH. So we really noticed that the bidding system has a huge impact on the value. Even if someone doesn't really pay for that, the fact that there is a bid war, the fact that someone shows interest for that has an impact on the value. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Was there anything else you wanted to share with us?
Nope, I'm done.
Okay, cool. So guys, I know we nearly reached the hour time. Wow, the conversation has gone so fast. But before we all go, I wanted to ask you, is collecting addictive? What do you think? Do you think that once you are a collector, you will carry on collecting, or not? Do you think you can stop? Well, Shark, what's your point on that?
Short answer. Right now, you guys see 3,000 assets in the vault. I have another 10,000 about to go in over the next couple of months. I don't know what to say, Serena. Somebody help me.
Matty, what about you?
I know historically I kind of move with where the next kind of hot pockets are. Like, for example, my previous experience was e-commerce and Facebook and drop shipping and selling products on Facebook, just because it was such a hot mix and it was such a booming industry and there was a lot of opportunity there. And now it seems to be NFT space. But this is the first space I've really kind of involved myself with the community. And it's more like a ongoing space that it's not really going to be saturated in that sense. There's always going to be opportunity and way to grow and move in different spaces. So I think, yeah, it is addictive. I mean, I know when I was collecting Gods Unchained packs and I was opening those packets, it was just, I had to ban myself from that URL because I was just buying so many packets and I was like, man, this is a really bad idea. But in that sense, I think if new investors find the right thing that fits their investment collecting style, then you can get hooked pretty quickly.
And Jim, will you be a collector for life?
I've always been addicted to new technology, and this is like the perfect storm of new technology combined with like marketplace and commerce and collectibles. So I think it's very much for me addictive because I'm just so excited about everything that we're building, and it's really neat to be able to purchase and support these vestiges of what will be eventually vestiges of the past of when we were building the metaverse. So it's really easy for me to get sucked in on any given day to NFT land. Yes, it's addictive.
Benoit?
Yes, I confirm it's very addictive. I mean, the thing is, I cannot sell. I also do collect vintage watches, and sometimes I say I need to sell one of them because I want to buy another one. But I just can't sell them, and I keep buying them, and I guess I'm gonna go with this.
I know, right? It has to be quite addictive in a way. Absolutely. Well, guys, it's been a great pleasure to be here tonight or this morning with all of you. And thank you all being watching. It's been such a great conversation. I know there's so many unanswered questions here in the feeds. So I guess we will continue the conversation in the group on Discord and also across social media on Twitter as well. But before we all go and wrap up this session, this first session on collecting NFTs, which has been, supported by the BGA and all the wonderful sponsors at the Blockchain Game Alliance, I would like for all of you to share just a small line to flesh out your ideas on what would it be for you. If somebody would ask you, I want to become a world collector, what kind of advice would you give them? In a few words, what if somebody would like to be a world collector? What would you suggest them to start doing from today? Seb.
Scroll Avastars.
Do your research.
Participate in the Sandbox IEO.
Oh, nice show.
Yeah, you need to
There you go.
Nice show.
You need to love.
Thank
You need to love what you buy. You need to love what you buy, and it will be fine.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah,
agree.
and pretty non-punchable before buying.
Yes, good
Also good
advice.
advice.
For
All
sure.
good advice.
Go to dclblogger.com.
Yep.
Start small and grow your way.
then
Dwell
after you
into
go
the
all
rabbit hole.
Scroll Avastars. Yep.
Wonderful. I
All
think
right.
these are all great advice. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sebastian, for making this possible. And thank you to the BGA and all the members supporting these conversations. And thank you, everyone watching and supporting the space.
Thank you,
It's a pleasure
Serena.
to be
Thank
here
you,
with
Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
BJ.
everyone. See you guys.
Really fun and
I'll see
engaging
you all next time.
conversation.
Take care. Be
Cheers.
safe, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.